At the end of our last lesson, we were letting the VMS install kit for Pinet automatically edit and run the configuration files to change the system settings of VMS. And here we see the tail end of that processing. At the end of that processing, we will return to the prompt, and we use this command here to take a look at the output from the AutoGen utility. I made some notes here. These are the messages we got warning us or reminding us that we needed to change parameters of the system. And in order to correct these issues, like I say, we let Pinet's VMS install kit edit a file called sys$system.modparams.dat. This file is a way users, system administrators, can alter VMS system settings. And then we later edited the modparams.dat file ourselves to make some minor changes. So I have an example of the modparams.dat file shown here. This is the modparams.dat file contents. And what we did after the fact is we went in and added these min underscore qualifiers to the keywords that set the system settings of VMS. The min underscore qualifier is useful to allow AutoGen in the future to increment these parameters, but at the same time it prevents AutoGen from letting these parameters get less than what we've specified here. AutoGen is a rule-based application. I think I described this earlier, and what I mean by that is it does have some rules about understanding that if you change one parameter it may affect another, or it may monitor system operation, and based on statistics of requirements, needs, adjust things up or down in order to optimize the operating system. So what we're doing with these min underscore qualifiers is we're allowing the system to increment these to optimize performance, but we're not letting them make them smaller. After editing and saving our changes, then we executed autogen.com again, and here's the command we used to do this. So we're telling it the starting phase, save params, the ending phase, set params, and then we're also telling it not to use feedback information. Normally I would allow feedback information, but in this particular case, since it's a new installation of Pinet, the feedback or statistics that the system has been keeping on resource needs don't apply, because after we install Pinet, the environments can be very different for VMS. After AutoGen was finished, then we wanted to take a look at the log file from AutoGen, and this is the name of that log file. There's a message that pops up during the AutoGen processing to remind us that we should look at this log file. So let's go ahead and do that now. So what we can do is we can take a look at this log file, and if I put the /p for page qualifier on here, we're looking at one screen full at a time. So here you can see that these are mentioning parameters loaded from modparams.dat, and we've got some informational messages here. The informational messages are significant to us in that we know we changed some settings, and we want to make sure that the setting is what we asked for. So in this case, global parameters got set to what we asked for. So did max buff. Virtual page count is okay. So we'll continue looking at this. Minimum global sections got set to a parameter that is more than we asked for, which is also okay. The page process quota limit default page file quota got set to the value we asked for, which is cool. And we'll just take a look at some of the rest of these messages here. Again, what we're looking for are messages related to the parameters we set, and to ensure that the parameter that got set is what we asked for or better. We're also looking for errors or warning messages. So global sections is one of our parameters, and it's got set to an OK value. Logical name system hash table is one of our parameters, and it got set the way we wanted. Logical name process hash table, again, is one of our parameters. It got set the way we wanted to. Process quota limit default page file quota, it got set the way we want to, so that's okay. Max buff got set the way we want to, so that's okay. None of these are parameters that we set. There's also no warning or error messages here, so this is okay. Same thing here. Same thing here. So it looks like we're okay. So the next step is to reboot VMS and see if we can attempt the PiNet installation again. And we'll come back at the beginning of the next lesson and see how we did. Sometimes when working with the tuning of the operating system and setting system parameters, not everything goes smooth. So the next couple of videos are optional. They show what might be a worst case example of trial and error steps and necessary to get the system settings adjusted so that we can install Pi or PiNet on an open VMS machine. During these sessions we're going to run the AutoGen utility a number of times, edit mod params.dat, and also take a look at the output file from AutoGen, the AGen $params.report file, to try and troubleshoot problems. Again, these are sort of an example of a worst case, so you may want to skip over these and move right into the next section.